Alright, mic check, quick mic check. Let me know, guys, if you can hear me, please. I think sound is coming through. So we should be able to start. Okay, guys, welcome to the trading room. My name is Saul, glad to be with you. Before we get started, please remember we're gonna be trading live market conditions. So anything I say here or do here is meant to be a buy or sell signal. It's just for educational purposes, and it's the way I read the charts and I make decisions in the market on real-time markets. So, just be responsible for your own trading and apply some concepts to your own situation. With that being said, let's start here. We didn't have a trading room yesterday, so I'll take just a few moments to, give you the macro perspective of what's going on, what are the big players doing, and potential moves in the market. And then if we find some opportunities, we'll go to lower time frames and we'll do some trading. So just let me share my screen here, and I'll start briefly with the US dollar, with the dollar index. And we've seen how the dollar index have been getting stronger and stronger and stronger for the last weeks and months now. And I've discussed this with some traders, the implication of that not being the most healthy thing for the US economy, as investments from outside get reduced. And of course, the hundreds of trillions of world debt denominated in US dollars. So a lot of countries will struggle to pay that debt as long as the dollar is that strong. So there will be a lot of interest, and there will be a lot of efforts of trying to weaken the dollar. The challenge is the inflation in the US and getting closer to 10% now. We have CPI this week in the US, or next week, so we'll have a look at that, and we'll see what's the inflation. So as long as inflation is high, there's an expectation of the Fed increasing interest rates, and that bringing more demand into US dollar, and the dollar getting stronger. So as long as inflation is high, we'll see the dollar strengthening. But once that stopped, there'll be a lot of efforts to trying to weakening the dollar. And we start to see some signs in the market. Okay, that's like the fundamental approach, and I'll try to show you some technical approach to that. So to try to make a correlated decision, maybe position in the market. Let's have a look together to the US calendar, to the economic calendar. So earlier we had a CPI, so we had inflation in New Zealand, which was worse than expected, higher than expected, but for the currency is better, because now there will be expectations of the Kiwi, New Zealand bank of increasing interest rate, and that will bring demand for the Kiwi, for the New Zealand dollar, and we'll see that in the charts just in a moment. So we will see that. Other than that, Wednesday we've got CPI again, inflation in the UK, and we'll see how that looks. Canadian CPI, so we'll see how the inflation hitting there. Unemployment in Australia, that's very similar to the Kiwi one. So I'll show you how that looks in the market, and the differences. Hopefully we can make a differentiation of how the technical aspect looks on pound and euro against, for example, yen, New Zealand and Australian economy. So I'll show you that in an effort. So just be aware of those high impact events. If some surprises there, tend to bring a lot of volatility and intraday important movements in the market. So just keep an eye open there. And with that, I want to show you the charts, and I'll show you how that looks. So this is the daily chart on the euro. Okay, so we see how there's a lot of efforts of trying to bring in the euro USD back to parity. Okay, so if we mark the one line, okay, it's around there, that's the parity level. We broke down, and immediately, you know, there was an important movement up. Now those movements, those kind of V shapes, if we try to find it in the monthly, you know, sometimes in larger time frames you see those like tails, like reversal candles. Okay, so I don't see it quite that, but the formation is the same formation. Okay, so it's a push lower, okay, from a key support area back here, and real time what you expect to see is a retest of that area, because that created a supply back here. So we tend to see a reaction to that. So after this movement, to test the supply area and to react. Now that move didn't happen, but it came and tested all the way back latest supply, and then pull back, okay, like here, and form a pivot point right here. Now if we zoom in a little bit to the hourlies, look at that formation. Okay, so we have the pullback, and then we have a lot of sideways movement, and look at this movement here. Okay, look at this formation here. In order to create these movements, I guess there was some news, okay, related to that movement. There's a lot of fundamental movement behind this, okay, large size movement. So that creates new demand. We see the reaction of that, and on the dailies we see that creates a pivot point. Creates, you know, it forms the wick on the bottom, and that's like kind of a you know, a very bullish candle on the dailies, and that creates a pivot. So technically this creates a higher low than the previous one. So this might be the very beginning of a trend reversal for the Euro USD on the dailies. Okay, this has been a downtrend, lower highs, lower lows, and this, for the first time in a very long time, we have a higher low. Now of course this is early to state, okay, for this to really create a trend reversal, it needs to break this pivot here and now create a higher high than previous one. But if that happens, that would be, you know, when you backwards go, you know, back in time, and you see if that happens, you can easily go back in time and say, yeah, this is a reversal or an inverse head and shoulders or an inverse Quasimodo patterns, which are trend reversals. And in back testing, it's very funny just to go and to say, yeah, trade a break of those patterns, and you will see how trend continues and continues and continues. So real time, we're early to really determine this is going to be a trend reversal, but it's potentially forming. Okay, so it's potentially there. So it's not a bad moment to start building buy positions, and really to hold, to see if we're going to retest previous high or potentially break that, and if we break, how are we breaking that? Because if that really breaks substantially, so we can see a break of this previous resistance and this previous one, and we can see a trend reversal on the macro. Okay, a really fundamental trend reversal. But that requires a lot of discipline and, you know, long-term perspective. But if you do just looking for intraday, so I believe we're going to, you know, test previous supply. Let's see if we can refine that. Okay, maybe to these areas or to that area. That's a nice supply there, and we need to wait and see how are we approaching that area. But I think that's the next target, with coming from, you know, this demand down here to the next key level, which is some support, some resistance here, but really this supply area. And then we'll see how we form there, and potentially to see a break of that. Okay, So if I go and try to short term or intraday the markets, my bias would be kind of neutral, little bit bullish. Now on the pound, we have a similar formation. Okay, we have the break lower. There's no continuation. Okay, there's no retest of the supply and continuation lower. Instead, there's follow through to the upside, pullback, and retest of previous high. Okay, so we kind of have the same formation here. We established a higher low than the previous one, and look at the difference between that and the Aussie, or let me open up the Kiwi here. Okay, on the Kiwi, we don't have that formation. We don't have that strong recovery of the Kiwi in this case, and the pullback. Okay, let's try to see them side by side, and just trying to train our eyes to what currencies are stronger than others will help you, filter and try to pick the right one to trade. Okay, so we see on pound we have the drop, recovery, pullback, lower high, higher low. Same thing on the euro. Okay, deeper but same thing, and we do not have that on the Kiwi. We have the current Kiwi strengthening because of the news we saw. Okay, there's more inflation, so there will be more demand towards that. So we see that, but you see there's no. This is a weaker currency. So on pound and euro, long term, I'm trying to build a turn in the market, but I don't see those signs on the Kiwi or the Aussie. Okay, so Aussie and Kiwi, I'm still very bearish. Okay, so those are I'm trying to find a correlation between the fundamentals and the technicals, and I think that's the long-term perspective. It's worth seeing some pairs like the guys. Once we start seeing the weakening of the dollar, we will see the strengthening of all the rest. Okay, so we'll start seeing silver and gold recovering. We'll start seeing stocks recovering. Okay, more people will be inclined to go ahead and buy again US denominated stocks, which is being very affected of the US strong. So more people will go back and buy those stocks. So we kind of see some recovery of that, but it's still early for that. And Bitcoin, of course, will start recover, but we need first the US dollar, inflation to stop or to flatten, and the US to start weakening, so we see the rest of the assets recovering. And of course, the yen is a different story. Let me pull that up. Yen has been very, 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 very weak, and we can see that against all currencies. So especially pound yen. Look at pound yen. In this case, we had a drop. Okay, that was a pound movement, recovery, pullback. Okay, same as pound dollar. We see the same pattern in pound yen. In this case, we already broke the previous high and previous resistance, which is because the yen is very, very weak. Okay, so in pairs like the yen, I'm still shorting the yen. Okay, so I'll wait for pullbacks and shorting, buying in this case, and USD JPY, I would still try to buy, but on pullbacks. Okay, so that's like the long-term perspective. Let's drop into lower time frames and try to make some pips. Emmanuel, I wonder where's the best place to learn Forex for beginners. That's a tough one. I really don't know. Like I haven't tried academies that are around these days, so not sure. I guess going to I don't know. Maybe someone in the chat might help you. So I'll drop to the euro, and I'll stick to my analysis. And I go to lower time frames. So for the purposes of this class, or this this session, I'll be bullish as long as we stay above that line, probably that line, that level there. Okay, that would be my bias. Okay, I'm going with the long-term bias. It's beat at the resistance, so I need to wait for pullbacks, and then I'll start building into some longs. Let me not a lot of support in this area, so I'll start building my long positions very, very slowly. Wait, let me bring back. And of course, I'm not sure we're going to see a break of this support today during the session. So I'll be trying to aim for that level as my target, intraday target or scalping target. And probably if I see signals of or sign of strengthening, I'll try to hold more for longer. Okay, but just for scalps, I'll those highs will be like my target. So a little bit of activity here on the 1 minute chart. There's not a lot, but might be some support there. I'm trying to build into my next a retest of those high. This was a significant bearish movement from there we might see a continuation lower. So I want to be out of the market before we break higher. So I'll see how price forms there. If there's more sellers, I see we will see an easy break of this area, so I'll hold myself from building more positions, and then I'll wait for the market to come into lower areas such as this one, or maybe down here, to build other positions. Okay. Right now, we might be reacting to this supply. So from the 5 minute chart. So this last time was quite significant. So I have to be ready for a similar movement. So that's why I start very, very slow building to my positions. And I need to wait for the market to come into these areas where the bullish movement was significant enough to to push the market to the upside. Okay, and we see how price try to turn here, and it's failing. Okay, so failed once. Okay, it held, but start to try to turn, and it failed there. Okay, so now I expect a lower movement. Okay, a movement to the downside, and that's why I'm holding now. Now I need to see the market start to flattening, and then a turn. Okay, I really want to see now the buyers holding in the upper area. Because that might establish the pivot point and potentially turn. So Adam, this is not an indicator, this is just the depth of market. So if you click here, you can predefine your lot size, take profit, and stop loss. And I just use it to enter the market quickly. So that's one trade. Okay, now let's try. If we can break this little tail, that was a okay. This tick, there was a resistance on the tick chart, correct? So if we can break that, we should be going all the way to around this area. I want to be out of the market in that at that price. And I will be holding one to see if we can, swing it a little bit more. Okay, nice movement for my trade. Okay, nice rejection to the downside. Let's see if we can get some follow through. Come on, nice. And the latest one. Now this is always a dilemma. Okay, do I take profits at the highs, or do I wait and potentially wait for a breakout? Myself, I'm always banking profits, but I do recognize that sometimes because of doing that I missed on good opportunities. Okay, where I should try to swing my trades a little bit more. But so many times, because of trying to swing them, okay, to get more and more profit, I missed out on opportunities, and I only see the market just going down against me. So I'd rather having the money in my account, and then I can use it on a better opportunity. Okay, but it's just my personal account. I'm not a good swing trader. Okay, I'm a great scalper. And I'm a good position trader. Okay, I do trade for a very long terms in the market, but I struggle on my 1 minute chart trading to try to swing my trades, which I'm fine with that, and I have adapted my trading to that. Okay, so if we see what we've done, okay, we've made $20, but just in 5 minutes of trading. Okay, 3 trades to make that, which looks little, but if you do in a 1 hour session, you have plenty of these setups, and you can make easily $100, $200, and it's just a matter of sizing and increasing your lot size to make more money. Okay, for example, this account, I only traded for the trading rooms. Okay, so once a week or during that day. And if we see so if we go to custom period, let's take September. There was a lot of holidays here, but let's take September. There was some holidays here, so I don't know if I was very active, but there was very few days I traded this account for September. Okay, and still I made $500. Okay, and if we analyze the performance of this account, I traded probably 4 days or 5 days. Okay, so the consistency. So if you do that same thing, the same trading I do for the trading rooms, you increase your your lot size according to your trading account. So you can make those $100 a day or or so dollars a day, you can make them every day, every single day, or $200 a day, or $500 a day. It's just a matter of proper sizing, okay? But the consistency is what you want to aim for, okay? Okay, so let's go back to our trading. So I missed out here on a few pips. Okay, probably 3 pips where my take profit was initially. So if I've held my trade 3 more minutes, I would have made 3 more pips. Okay, which is something. Now when I'm out of the market, okay, I finished one setup and I want to reestablish. Have something changed in the market, okay, on my setup. So I see my analysis very clear. Nothing has changed. So my bias is still to the bullish side. So now wait for my next setup, which right now is trying to catch the breakout, which I'm not a huge fan of those. But if I see there's a break, then I'll wait for the retest of that breaking area, and I'll try to rebuy on that area. Just let me okay, that's previous supply on a 1 minute chart. So a break of that should take us all the way to that area. That area is a good selling area. Okay, if I just want to make a few pips to try to catch the reversal, that's around that area. And if not, I'll wait for the retest of the breaking area and I'll try to buy again in the market. How do you become so skilled? Try and error. Yeah, Emmanuel, it's just a matter of screen time and chart time and practicing and practicing and practicing. Matthias, books on scalping? Not really. I think, you know, once you get the basics, you just need to apply it and apply it and apply it again and again and again. I don't know any book on scalping that can give you something you don't know, or an edge or something like that. It's a lot of discipline. That's the thing. Yeah, Elmer. So scalping of the first touch on supply and demand area is a great thing to do, because you're putting yourself in the place where for the very first time you're testing an area of interest where institutions were active last time. Okay, so like this. Now the aiming for 20 or 30 pips, that's very it's arbitrary. Okay, it's something, it doesn't, the 20-30 pips doesn't make sense for me. It's just from key area to key area. So depending on the time frame you're analyzing, the 20 or 30 pips will be less than that or more than that. So for example here, if there was, okay, this a 1 hour chart. So if I was selling this area, I'm not saying I will, but if I was, then my target would be this area. Okay, around that area, around, you know, above this support. So the distance between now and the area, that's 80 points, 80 pips. So depending on the time frame, you will need to adapt your target. No, this is Forex, but you can apply the same concepts for stocks and crypto and whatever you want. Okay, now I'll try to catch the next movement down. It's not the best thing to do, but I'll try to catch the retest of this area, and then I'll switch again to the long side. I'm just aiming that, or I'm keying that before that blue line, which is the top of the supply area on the 5-minute chart, we will see a little bit of selling activity before continuing to the upside. So I'm trying to catch that next pullback, and then I'll try to switch into the long side. So there's an attempt, but there's no continuation. So we see how there's a lot of the bulls are now very present and very active. Yeah, this is just to determine my take profit and my stop loss and my lot size. Okay, that's the depth of the DOM. Okay, now you see how we're failing. Okay, their sales are not managing to push the market lower. Instead, they're pushing higher. Okay, so at this stage, I need to find ways to fix this trade and to get out of it. Okay, just to kill it. So let's see if I can fix it, and if not, I'll close it and I'll wait for pullbacks, and then I'll try to rejoin the bullish movement, because these kind of movements, they can easily pick momentum. Okay, so I don't want to be in that position. And especially when I said that if we break this area, and that's what we're trying to do, we might easily go all the way to 80 pips from here. So I want to avoid being in that position. But I cannot go long either, because I'm at the very top. Okay, so let's sell one more time. Let's see if we can make some money, and once I'm break even here, I'll try to I'll just kill the full trade, and I'll start buying again. Just a little bit of selling activity, and be in good shape. Okay, so let's just see what happened here. Okay, so I took a loss, an initial loss, and then I compensate that with a win. Then I took a break-even trade, but another win. Okay, so I was trying to catch this pullback, okay, but okay, at this stage when the market was about to turn, I was trying to catch the turn, okay, and that instead of that it gained momentum to the upside. So I need to recognize my setup failed. So I need to my objective changes from making money to fixing, okay. So that's another skill I recommend mastering. Not only making money, but also fixing trades and preserving capital. So once you realize that, you need to look ways to fix the trades. So that's what I did here, and now I'm ready to make money again, okay. But you really, I recognize, 50 or 40% of the times I'm wrong with my analysis. So I need to be fixing and make money, but it's very important to be humble enough to recognize that. Wow, a lot of questions, so let's take some of those. I always have fundamental view of the, yeah, so my fundamentals give me my bias. So fundamentals is very, very difficult to predict what's going to happen with the market, because there's a lot of factors that are going to determine the movement in the market. But I go to the larger time frames, and I try to get a bias from the dailies or the hourlies, and then I go to lower time frames and use that bias in my favor. So for this, what I did today, okay, is getting a bullish bias from the dailies, and then I go to the 1 5-minute chart and 1 minute chart, and I try to make money in that direction. Scalping, you mainly use 5-minute chart and not 1 minute chart. So when I'm scalping, okay, when I'm doing my intraday trading, I look for my setups on the 5-minute chart. I define on the 5-minute chart what are my limits, okay, what are my key levels or areas of interest in the 5-minute chart, and then I execute on the 1-minute chart. Okay, hope that makes sense. Currently on bootcamp with you guys, same time frame, look different, or you're lagged behind. Maybe you're looking at Billy, there's some latency when streaming, so I guess that's the reason. What is the number of risk calculator you're using? I'm not using a risk calculator. We do have we do offer a risk calculator. If you go to the website and you go for tools, under about menu, there's tools, and there are some risk management tools there. But this is just for going in and out of the market. Thank you, Anna. Sell, undersell, sell, how you did that. Okay, now I really want to go long, but I can't go long because I'm at the very top of the range. So I need to wait for the market to break this sideways, this consolidation, which is the blue line that we marked earlier, and seeing this to become a demand area. Okay, I really like the start of or the beginning of an important movement. Once I see that break, okay, I could try to catch the break, but I'm not a huge fan of that because many times I get fake outs. So if I buy now, I expose myself to those fake outs where I just see the market go up and then boom. Okay, so I prefer seeing the breakout and then the retest of this area, and then I'll be loading with buys, okay, to try to get the next move higher. Yeah, so this is the depth of market. This window here, if you go, you can click it here. Depth of market. And then you go and you can predefine your lot size and you take profit all in points. And you can just go buy and sell. Nice. Now on the 5-minute chart, I'm waiting. Okay, I'm waiting for the market to come probably to this area, and from there I can start buying again. Could you just position a stop loss into a break-even position and wait to see if it rallies? You see, you mean to try to swing it, like to let it go in my direction? Yeah. It's just related to personality. I'm just prefer having money in the account. Okay, guys, I think we'll wrap up. It's a slightly shorter session today. I just need to jump into some calls and some meetings. But I think we had some good content here. Okay, first we saw the whole exercise and the whole process of going from fundamentals to daily charts to see if that's reflected on the daily charts. And now we can see how we're trying to establish a turn in the Euro USD and Pound USD, going for a weakening USD. And then I use that for the bias to go into short-term setups and then to short-term executions. And we had some building. Okay, we started here with some buys. It came down, we kept buying, okay, and we took some profits. So we built into positions, and then I went short and I fixed positions. Okay, I added more shorts, but not for making money, but for fixing the trade. So we saw some, trade management and risk management techniques here, and size management, and I guess some self-management as well, which is very important. Okay, just knowing your limits and what you're supposed to do and where to buy, where to sell, and those limits help you keep in control of yourself, which is the most important. So yeah, hopefully we had some value in there. So guys, thanks for coming, thanks for staying, and we'll see you next week. Okay, thank you guys, bye bye.